Yeah, so flag raising. So you can start with this part of the script that says flag raising. The flag raising script.
Good morning. The students are going to be raising the colors in a few minutes, so please consider joining us outside by the flagpole if you would like to observe.
He just looks cool. States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible.
Just go ahead and we'll start the service with the concho. I think my computer ran out of battery power.
Okay. So,
Yeah, so that won't come back on.
it's going to come on. Today is September 11, yeah?
October.
October.
So the slides won't come on for another couple minutes because Sensei left his thing without electrical power, so it ran out of energy. So we shall begin the service with the concho. So cue Floyd. And hopefully this thing will come back online.
Good morning. I'm Gail Hamai, and I will be your MC for this morning. Let's begin the service by singing the Vandana Tisarana together in both Pali and English. Please rise if you are able to.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa. Amen. Him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo.
Thank you. Please be seated. We will now chant the Gatha, Gasho with Amida. The words may be found on the handout and will also be shown on the screen once we get the screen up.
Remember, we couldn't get it on the screen.
I'm sorry, I could have put them on over here
Here it
so you can
is.
see what's going on.
Oh, no. It's showing here, but not here.
There we go. So when the technology doesn't work, just say Nam Mami Dabatsu and everything's going to be fine. It doesn't work that way, I'll just go back. I recite Amida's name with deep joy and gratitude. I show with Amida trees and grasses and flowers, all grown in great compassion. His light shines throughout the world. I show with Amida. Flowers bloom and flowers fall. From the seed sprout new flowers. This is the truth unchanging. I show with Amida. Springtime brings the happy birds. Their songs all praise Amida. I join them in Nembutsu. I show with Amida. When I call Amida's name, it's Amida calling me. Buddha's voice, my voice are one. I show with Amida. When I'm lonely, I recite Namo Amida Butsu. Then I feel great compassion. I show with Amida. Nembutsu did work and play every day with Amida. Every moment filled with light. I show with Amida. Remember virtue of Amita's vow, they share the only all, together attain awakening mind. We are born in the land of Let's sit together quietly for a few moments. So just relax and get comfortable. If you're able, sit forward in your seat and place both feet flat on the ground. Now sit up straight and align your head, neck, shoulders, and back in a straight line that goes down to the floor. Place your hands comfortably in your lap. Now close your eyes and just breathe. Breathe in and breathe out. In and out. As you breathe in, you'll feel energy filling your body. And as you breathe out, any stress or worries in your mind just fade away. Just breathe. The sound of the gong will signal the end of our quiet meditation. Namanda, Namanda, Namanda,
On the first Sunday of each month, we remember all those who have passed on before us, honored ancestors, departed loved ones, dear friends, and beloved companions. Reverend Carey will read the list of memorial cycles for the month of October. During this time, we encourage everyone, both here in person and at home, joining us by live stream to offer incense and reflect upon the continued influence of departed loved ones and honored ancestors in this unrepeatable life.
Nancy Mutsuko Enoki, 2014. Yasuki Nishimura, 1979. Toraso Taketa, 1971. Takeryu Ota, 2003. Mitsuno Fukuda, 1996. Clarence Susumu Inaba, 2000. Baby Tanaka, 1936. Clara S. Okamura, 1999. Roy Ishizu, 2006. Kiyono Shimizu, 2020. Sakujiro Tanikome, 1931. Momoyo Fujimoto, 1969. Yasunari Hamai, 1998. Joanne Karimoto, 2019. Richard Shigeru Karimoto, 2019. Akie Imada, 1927. Ichiro Kayakane, 1951. Sho Sakae, 2000. Kichiyoshi Takishita, 1958. Hichiro Karimoto, 1995. Isata Tsuchida Okamoto, 2018. Michiko Tanaka, 1927. Lauren Fumio Hamai, 1958. Misao Yoshimi, 1980. Toshio Tom Mihara, 1989. Yoshio Inoue, 1985. Emily Sueko Tanaka, 1997. Masamitsu Abe, 2000. Nobuo Kawahara, 1972. Hanako Yoshida, 1929. Nagami Omura, 1965. A list of memorial cycles for the month of October.
Mahalo. Thank you. Let's all recite the golden chain of love together. Let us begin. I am a lady in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I must keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and to do pure and beautiful deeds, knowing that what I do now depends not only on my happiness or unhappiness, but also that of others. May every link in this golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Now, on the first Sunday of each month, we celebrate birthdays. Yay! Yay. Here's a list of birthdays we know about. And if your birthday is this month, please come up to the front. We have cupcakes. Who's going to serve? Do we have, please come on up, kids. Any birthday? Come on.
Okay, Lena, you gotta go grab Grandpa because he's shy.
Elena Miguchi, Sean Miguchi, Glenn Kosaka, Megan Kosaka, Marilyn Morikawa, Robert Okuni, Meliana Peterson. Happy birthday.
Okay, everybody else.
Anyone else?
Anybody else? Come on down.
If your birthday is sometime this year.
If you're sitting here and breathing, it's okay. It could be your birthday. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, Tori, grab the other kids because they're shy. Okay, come on. I see you two guys sitting in the middle row there. Come on. Because otherwise, Sensei's going to have to eat all the cupcakes, and then his wife is going to be like, what are you eating all the cupcakes for? Okay, don't be shy. Come on, guys. It's okay. We still got 5 more. Hurry up. The candle's going to melt. Uh-oh, you're getting wax on your cake, and after your cake really fast. Okay, everybody shut. You can come up later. It's okay.
Let's sing happy birthday. Okay, everybody?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friends. Happy birthday to you. Make a wish. Yes. So we're very fancy. We have containers for the birthday cupcakes.
And I'll take it with you.
Okay. Yeah, we still got more cupcakes, guys, so don't be shy.
Somebody needs to blow the candles out.
I'll blow them out.
Very good. Go for it. Oh, one shot. Nice. Okay, so for 3 years you don't have any birthdays.
Okay, and now it's children's Dharma story time with Reverend Carrie.
Well, since I missed his cue, so here we go. Live from Makawao, it's children's Dharma story time, starring Barkley the dog and Lucy the ladybug. Beha! Good morning. Aloha kakahiako. Gozaimasu. It's me, Barkley the dog, the rascal dog. Mahalo for joining us here in historic Makawao town on the beautiful island of Maui in the great state of Hawaii. And this here's the love of my life, Lucy Ladybug. Well, good morning. Aloha kako. Aloha for everyone. I'm so happy to see all of you here this morning. Barkley, let's put on our magic glasses from Maui Optics and see who's here with us this morning. Mayhow, that's a great idea, Lucy. Let's see. I can see Kalana and Tars. No, there's Kalana. Where's Tars? I don't know. Let's see. I can see Tori and Benji and Elena and no comment, but that's okay. And Kai, Emmy, Micah, Nolan, and Cora, Illinois, Anna, Wesley, Sierra, Lindsay, Kenneth, Melody, and Cadence in Honolulu, and Sensei buddies from around the world. And there's a bunch of kids whose names I forgot to put on the list. I'm really sorry. But anyway, mahalo. Arigato, obrigado, shay, thank you for joining the fun. Because we have a great story for y'all today. That's right, Berkeley, it's one of Sensei's favorite stories. Today's story is Annie Dreams of Birani by Namita Bulani Mera, illustrated by Chahaya Prabhat. Annie Dreams of Birani by Namita Bulani Mera, illustrated by Chahaya Prabhat. The book is dedicated to my daughter Anya, always curious, fearless, and in need of a snack. That's from NMM. And for the true, incomparable, unconditional love of Birani. And that's from CP. In the heart of Little India sat an old cafe with an oldish owner and an even older secret. Across the street from the Birani Cafe lived Annie with her ma and grandma. From her kitchen window, Annie watched her bustling neighborhood with its spicy smells and colorful crowds. As she chopped and whisked, Annie listened to the constant chatter of busy bikers, curious tourists, and weary workers. They were all here for the famous Birani made by the cafe owner, Mr. Arif. Everyone called him Uncle. By sunset, the Birani was sold out. "Finish already! No more! Don't have!" Uncle shouted. And he felt bad for all the people being turned away. It was, after all, the best Birani in the world. Fluffy and fragrant, spicy and succulent, absolutely addictive. Annie could have eaten it every day. But Grandma said only once a week as a special treat. So Friday night was biryani night, the best night of the week. If only I knew how to cook it myself, Annie thought. She could cook curries and koftas, roti and raita, but when Annie cooked biryani, it was never as good as Uncle's. There was only one person who could help her become a biryani expert and fulfill her dream, Uncle. Hello, Uncle, it's me, your #1 fan. It smells so good in here. Is that cardamom? Uncle, who never smiled, simply nodded. But Annie wasn't discouraged. She was on a special mission. Every Friday, Annie asked Uncle a different question. Uncle, what makes your biryani a little spicy but not too spicy? Whole green chilies, he said. Must not cut. How do you make the rice orange, Uncle? Saffron. First, soak in milk. When browning the onions, how brown is brown? Just don't burn it, yeah? A loud grunt told Annie it was time to leave. Annie dashed home to write in her journal. The aroma of spices swirled around her, transporting her to magical places as she tried to piece together Uncle's secret recipe. When will you cook biryani for us, Annie? Grandma asked. Soon, very soon. Annie smiled. Her mission was not yet complete. The following Friday, Annie started to ask, Uncle, is biryani? Ayya! Only talking, no cooking. Why don't you try to cook it for once? He snapped. Uncle and Grandma were right. It was time. Annie rushed to the market. That night, she cooked and cooked and cooked. We're home, called out Grandma. They gasped. Today we're eating my biryani, Annie declared. Oh, Annie, this is too good, Grandma said. The best, Ma added. Her biryani was pretty good, but it wasn't as yummy as Uncle's. Uncle, said Annie the next week, I did it. I made biryani. It was good, but not as good as yours. Something was missing. And then she whispered, is there a secret ingredient, Uncle? Uncle said nothing. There must be, Annie cried. I have it all written down, see? Uncle raised an eyebrow and flipped through Annie's journal. He said. Uncle's eyes looked brighter than usual, until he suddenly shoved the journal back into Annie's hands and huffed, very busy today. And Uncle stomped off. Annie stood stunned. She clutched her journal and trudged home. We're back, announced Mom. Looking forward to some biryani. There will be no biryani on Fridays, Annie sulked. She threw her journal into a drawer and tried not to think about the cafe. Days and weeks rolled by, but Annie couldn't stop dreaming about biryani. The sounds and smells still danced around her. Her stomach rumbled and her heart ached. Another Friday came. Annie was done being mad and sad. It was time to bring back biryani night. It was time to complete the mission. Annie made a new plan. But when she got to the cafe after school, it was locked. No! The sign on the door says closed forever. Annie rushed home. Grandma, what happened to the cafe? Where's Uncle? Annie took a deep breath in. It smelled like Uncle's biryani. Am I dreaming? Uncle came looking for you, Annie. He left this. On the kitchen table was a bag and a letter. And the letter says, Dear Annie, enjoy my last serving of biryani. It's time for me to stop working. I don't have anyone to take over the cafe. And no one loves my biryani like you, my #1 fan. So here's a gift. It's been in my family for 200 years. I know you will take good care of it. Love, Uncle Arif. Hands trembling, Annie turned the note over. And it said, secret recipe for the best biryani in the world. Annie smiled at this most precious gift. Her dream come true. The end. The book continues with a wonderful description of biryani. It says, biryani is so deliciously special that once you've tried it, you'll be dreaming about it all the time, just like Annie. And it says, what is biryani? Biryani is an aromatic rice dish that's made with either meat, seafood, or vegetables, and lots of spices. And then it goes on to explain where it comes from and what the ingredients for the best biryani. For the mommies and daddies in the audience, it does come with a recipe that says, Uncle's recipe is a secret, but here's a quicker and easier version you can try. And it has a URL for that. So if you'd like to try biryani, there you go. Hey, wasn't that a great story? Let's see, Lena, what part did you like? Really? I love that part too. I loved how Annie never gave up and was a pest while doing it. She'll always bug an uncle for his secrets. I know what that's like. Yeah, I'm always bugging other people. But you know, Uncle knew that she really believed in her dream of making the best biryani in the whole world. And because she never gave up, she persisted, she kept trying. How about you, Lucy? What part did y'all like? Well, mahalo for asking, Barkley. I liked how everyone encouraged Annie's dream of making the best biryani in the whole world. Her mom, her grandma, and even grumpy Uncle believed in her dream too. Even when Uncle was grumpy, he knew Annie was the only one who should get his family's secret recipe because she knew just how precious it was, and that's why she never gave up. And together, they all made Annie's dream come true. Hey, yeah, that's right. How about you, Sensei? Well, I loved how Grandma insisted that eating biryani must be a special treat. So they only ate it once a week, even though everyone would love to eat it every day. Sometimes what makes something special is the reality you can't have it all the time. Hey, that's right. I've never thought about it like that, because I love to eat everything. Every food is special if you love everything. Say, how about you, Lucy Ladybug? Love my life? Well, it's like eating your birthday cake. You only get to eat your birthday cake on your birthday, which only comes once a year. That's what makes it so special. Hey, well, you got that right, Lucy Ladybug. Say, Sensei, say something profound. Okay, if you never eat something, is it super special? Well, I never thought about that because I always eat everything. Okay, it's time for the Dharma buddies here in person. Scoot over to Dharma school and have some fun with all the sharing, all the count. Oh, Barkley, always the rascal. That's why I love you. Have fun, everybody, and remember, be good. But not too much. Okay. Okay, I think there's a slide in there somewhere which basically says, be good, not too much. And kids, now we're going to go to Dharma school.
Dharma school students and all children are invited to the social hall for Dharma school activities. Reverend Carey will now give a Dharma talk for adults.
So, good morning, everyone. Let's see, that's right. I'm supposed to make this longer because the Dharma school needs more time to do stuff. I'm usually trying for 10 minutes, so this is actually written to 10 minutes, so I'll just make it longer. This morning, I'd like to talk about COVID-19 and me, my ego. So as far as I know, I've never had COVID-19. I've never tested positive, whatever. So I took secret pride, right, in being that I was very cautious. I was meticulously following CDC guidelines, and the state of Hawaii's Department of Health and the County of Maui directives. I got vaccinated, got boosted, got double boosted. I got the bivalent booster, and this year's flu shot, just in case. I wear a mask, I wash my hands, I keep distance. And then, in Los Angeles last week, I was informed I was a close contact exposure risk. And suddenly, it's about me! So I went kind of crazy, right? It's kind of, do I have a runny nose? Is it cold in here? Is it cold in here? Do I have a fever? Is my throat sore? What happens if I test negative? What happens if I test positive? Obsessive compulsive me, right? I bought a whole box of N95 masks. I bought like 4 or 5 test kits with me. And I immediately looked up the latest guidance from CDC. Only to learn that the home test kits, right, can only detect the COVID-19 virus after 5 days. 5 days after exposure. Okay, so if you I was exposed, you take a test right away, it's going to come out negative. Somewhere between 3 to 5 days, the virus builds up to a point where you can test it and it's detectable by the home test kits. Well, who knew that kind of stuff, right? So in other words, I could only test with reliability after I got back to Maui. Well, that's a little weird. What should I do? What to do? What to do? What to do? Does my health insurance work in California? What if I get sick? I mean, like really sick. Where's the nearest hospital? And then my sister texts me, it's probably best if you and Mom don't go to the service at the temple tomorrow, yeah? So my mom, our mom, is in her 80s. She has pulmonary issues and also has dementia. So a bad infection of anything could literally kill her. So no risk was the best choice. I was also planning to stay at my brother's house in Santa Monica with he and his wife. She's a respiratory therapist, so they're extremely careful, extremely cautious about COVID-19 infection, and have avoided infection so far. So there you go. She asked me to wear a mask indoors, hey, no problem. Stay in an isolated room in a corner of the house, hey, no problem. And we just eat and talk story outdoors, again, no problem. It was interesting that being forced to be the responsible adult, right? Consider how to best mitigate the risk of transmission to others, right? To my mom, older brother, my brother and sister-in-law, my sister and her husband, people on Maui when I got back. And I started thinking about this, what's the best way to lower the risk of my infecting everybody else? And I realized this had completely shifted my perspective, right? It helped me to calm down and think rationally. I realized I should be very, very, very grateful that I had a chance to have breakfast with my mom, who I haven't seen in 3 years, on the morning of the day of the supposed close contact exposure. So if it happened, if I was planning to have breakfast the next day, I wouldn't go see my mom. So I was able to see my mom. Later in the afternoon, we had the opening reception. And that's when I actually sat next to somebody who the next morning presented symptoms. He actually got pretty sick and tested positive. So we're outdoors, right? Until then, we're all wearing masks. So outdoors, he's sitting right there. Reverend Murakami, Wailuku Honganji was on the other side. So the gentleman was here. We were having a good time talking, 20, 30 minutes of talking. And it was outdoors. So in theory, my infection risk is pretty low. I also realized that I should be grateful that I wasn't living in China, where zero COVID policies are enforced. Now, some of you know me, I lived in China for 3 years, so we know how China enforces public policy. They're quite serious about it. And then I tested negative on day 5 and day 7 and this morning. So since I'm not presenting any symptoms, I feel okay. In theory, I'm not infected and thus not infectious. Good enough. Phew, that was an interesting experience, right? And then, preparing for today's Dharma talk, I was pleasantly surprised to discover the County of Maui's COVID-19 community level is now green. It's low. Raise your hand if you knew that. I mean, I was away for a couple of weeks, so I didn't hear this. But it's not like it came out, hey, we're in the green, what's okay? So in theory, there's no need for masks. But if I take my mask off, I can see everyone move back about 3 inches, like, oh, no exposure residue. So the temple's COVID policies, say, it's designed to shift at this point. I'll change, supposed to change all the signs, and basically say masks are now optional. It is a personal choice. Right? And if you choose to wear a mask, good. If you choose not to wear a mask, it's okay. It's up to the individual now. So it's a very interesting shift. Very interesting shift. Because we base our policies on CDC and State of Hawaii and County of Maui guidelines. And that's what they say. That's what they say. So reflecting on my personal experience the past week, for everybody here and listening in the live stream audience, I would encourage you to wear a mask. We could put aside the logic of wearing masks to prevent transmission, but as a Buddhist practice, as a practice to force your ego to consider how your thoughts, words, and actions affect other people. So despite CDC recommendations to wear a mask on public transportation, I'd say about 95% of the people in the airport, on the airplane, and on the train in Los Angeles, they weren't wearing masks. Now CDC does recommend you wear a mask when you're on public transportation. There are no mandates. State of California, State of Hawaii, we have no mandates for masks and that sort of stuff. So it's now a personal choice. It's a personal choice. Me personally, right, being Mr. Paranoid, I felt like I had to shout out to people, close contact here, keep your distance, put a mask on, I could be infectious, hello. I really felt like I needed to tell people. But in reflection, right, what I realized is I wanted people to recognize and validate and praise me. Right? I wear a mask to protect you. Aren't I a paragon of virtue? I'm an outstanding model citizen. I'm a compassionate Buddhist. I wanted people to recognize that I was being careful, right, to protect others. And then, sitting in my plane, saying, what an idiot, yikes. Expecting recognition and reward for my compassionate attitude toward others. Duh. That's a violation of the first paramita, perfection of egoless generosity. Right? To do things for other people without thinking about what's in it for me. That's the first thing you have to do as a Mahayana Buddhist. You have to perfect that virtue, to perfect the virtue. And here I was, I'm a Buddhist, I'm an ordained Buddhist priest, I'm a certified teacher, and I'm thinking, hey, look, you should recognize me, look, I'm wearing a mask. Human nature. So now that Maui County is finally back to low, as we're in the green, the community levels, this question comes into focus for each of us on a personal level. Because it's now a personal choice. It's not a matter of public health policy. So why wear a mask? To protect others or to protect me? Right, so Buddhism, the teachings of the Buddha, would posit, would argue that it's our all too human instinct, right? Our natural instinct is to say, it's about me. I'm going to wear a mask to protect me. Or, right, the reverse is, well, I don't need to get vaccinated, I don't need to get boosted, I don't need to wear a mask, I don't need to do any of this stuff. I want to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, where I want to do it. Stop, okay, that comes up. I mean, there is no requirement to wear a mask. In this, we do open up all the windows and the doors and stuff to get cross ventilation. In theory, transmission risk is low. And yet, because you all know that I had a close contact experience, you're kind of like, yeah, I don't know, better put your mask back on. And the other thing too, of course, that if you look, at the news headlines and stuff, if you have too much money, right, if you're lucky enough to have too much money, you can buy the best medical care, right? You can get into the best hospitals. You can get early access to treatments. It's about me, it's about me. So Buddhism, again, the teachings of the Buddha, offers an alternative view of the world and suggests that we need to change and to shift our perspective to it's not about me. So breaking free of the human ego is the ultimate goal of Buddhism. You pursue the Buddhist path to break free of your ego. So awakening to reality as it is means seeing the ego self, the self, what we call the self. It's really an illusion created by our all too human brains. which is based on this massive flow of data from our 5 human sense organs, which, like every other part of my body, are starting to deteriorate, starting to decay. With age, your sense organs start decaying. So the Buddha's original path was that of monastic practice, right? Give up everything, shave your head, turn your back on this world. It's a total commitment to the realization of awakening. And this is the path for Gautama Siddhartha 2,500 years ago, the human being who became the Buddha and then shared the wisdom of the Dharma for 45 years when he dies at age 80. And so for 2,500 years, these teachings, this wisdom has been available to us. And it is in these teachings that we discovered the great compassion of Amida, reaching out to us, calling to us, imploring us to take refuge in Amida Buddha, to settle our birth into the Pure Land, where we are free of human body, mind, and ego. So in the larger sutra, the Tathagata of Immeasurable Life, it's the most important sutra in the Pure Land tradition. It's revealed that the primal vow, the Hongan in Honganji, the vow to save all people in all forms of life, the path of Nembutsu, this is where these teachings come from. So the words of Shinran Shonin. When I deeply consider the vow of Amida, which arose from 5 kalpas of profound thought, I realized that it was entirely for the sake of myself alone. Then, how I am filled with gratitude for the primal vow, in which Amida resolved to save me, though I am burdened with such heavy karma. The words of Shinran Shonin. So if you're familiar with the Tanisho, this is in the record of Lament of Divergences. So let's think about that line. This is Shinran Shonin, right, who has his own picture up here in the altar. And he's saying, right, this is the founder of our tradition saying, the vow, it's for me. It's for me. Why? Because in its simplest form, the path of Nembutsu is saying, Namo Amida Butsu, take refuge in Amida Buddha, with joyous faith and sincere aspiration for birth into the Pure Land, to save others. When you dig deeply into the 18th vow, you realize it means you want to be born in the Pure Land, not for yourself, but to help others. How do you do that? Just say it, just say Namo Amida Butsu. But because we're only human, right, and it's always about me, I have to understand something for it to be true and real. Wait a minute, just saying Namo Amida Butsu's magical words, I mean, why would it work? Give me proof, show me that it works. Convince me, persuade me, right? If I don't believe in something, it cannot be true and real. And that's very human of us. So that's why we're encouraged to come to the temple, to make the effort to listen to the Dharma, to hear the Dharma, to see the Dharma, to see Amida's compassion working in your life. To be an active member of this temple community. And for the scouts and scout parents, thank you so much for helping us out this morning. Why do we emphasize community so much here? Because that's how you learn to get along with people who are different than you are. And I think when we look around in the world today, that we find it's differences, people who are different than us. And it just creates conflict. The media, political reasons, there's all kinds of reasons why it's raising to such levels. But learning to get along with people who are different, that's why the temple exists. And if you listen to me, well, I'll toss in some religious stuff too. But, so here's an idea, right? To get along with people who are different than you, what should you do? And that's where this line comes from. Just say mahalo, just say thank you. No matter what happens, no matter what people say, no matter what people do, just say thank you. Just say thank you. You'll find it diffuses a lot of angry situations. And you just find that if you force yourself to say thank you, say mahalo a lot, you will perceive the world in a different way. So that's simply my message for today. That COVID-19 and my close contact exposure and transmission risk and all this stuff, in the end, it was kind of a pain actually, a little inconvenient. But it taught me a lot. It taught me to take a step back and look at myself, look at my ego in action. And that is how we describe the inconceivable working of Amida Buddha in my life. So, just say mahalo. Mahalo for listening this morning, and may your day be filled with aloha. Namanda,
Thank you, Sensei, for your Dharma talk this morning. Let us all chant the Metta Sutra, the Loving Kindness Sutra, together with Reverend Carey.
May all beings be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May I be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to me. May I live in peace and harmony. May my family be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my friends be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my teachers be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May strangers be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my enemies be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May all beings be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. Namo Amitabha. Namo.
Reverend Carey will now lead us in gratitude meditation.
So let's sit together for a few moments. So just relax, get comfortable. If you're able, sit forward in your seat and place both feet flat on the ground. Sit up straight, align your head, neck, shoulders, and back in a straight line that goes down to the floor. Place your hands comfortably in your lap. And just breathe. Breathe in and breathe out. Now close your eyes halfway so that you're looking both inwardly and outwardly. And just breathe. Breathe in and breathe out. As you breathe in, think of something for which you are grateful. And as you breathe out, just say thank you. Just say mahalo. Thank you. Just breathe. The sound of the gong will signal the end of our quiet meditation. Namana, it's namana, it's namana.
Thank you. Please rise if you are able to, and let us sing Ondoku-san, the hymn of gratitude, written by Shinran Shonin, which will be found on the screen, on the handout, on page 134 of the Red Service Book.
Oh
Munsu, which will be found on the screen on page 135 of the Red Service book.
For the primal vow, in which Amida resolved to save me, though I am burdened with such heavy karma. The wisdom of Shinran Shonin, which you can find in the Record of Lament of Divergencies, Collected Works of Shinran, Volume 1, page 679. Namo Amidas.
Mahalo, please be seated. Mahalo for joining us on our first Sunday Dharma family service today. Are there any announcements?
There's always announcements. One thing I did experience in Los Angeles, the announcements literally took longer than the Dharma talk, which was exactly the way it was when I was a kid, so some things don't change. Okay, next Sunday, I'm not here, sorry, I'm away again. But we'll have a Sangha-led service with our guest speaker will be Nalani, so you don't want to miss that. And then the 16th, right, so the following Sunday is the 115th and 50th anniversary for Paya Honganji and Makawao Honganji. 23rd will be regular Dharma family service. And October 30th will be Sunday Fun Day, maybe because, the next slide is Halloween at Makawao Honganji, which we're planning for Saturday. The 29th, which is 5 p.m. We realize it's 5:30. Oops, that's wrong slide. 5:30, which we realize it is actually that day is the senior program, so it's going to be a busy day. But what Mimi is planning this. What she's hoping to do is we'll have dinner, maybe potluck, maybe we'll just make hot dogs or something. We're still figuring it all out. Play some games, trick-or-treat at the temple. So remember the virtual trick-or-treating that we've been doing out here. The last time we did this, we discovered immediately after Sunday service, bad idea because it's really hot. And everybody, including the candy, was melting. So it's going to be on this Saturday. Sharon and I were thinking, gee, maybe we should just cancel the Sunday service because we'll be having fun on Saturday anyway. And then actually Halloween is the 31st. It's actually the Monday this year. So your kids are going to be very sugared up for that weekend, so watch out. Also, I think all of you should have received notification about the Nembutsu seminar. We are the host this year. So November 19th and 20th. The title is Change or Die. You can see that I wrote the headline. But it's basically insights and ideas and tips from Reverend Bob Oshta. The short story is he was 32 years as the resident minister of Sacramento Buddhist Temple. It grew to 1,000 families. The Dharma school went from 75 students to 400. They had to build an extension to the temple and for the educational building. So over his 32 years, he's experienced a lot of things. If you're interested, I encourage everyone to sign up. It's going to be in person and also live stream. Columbarium is open every day, 8:30 to 5. I think that's everything. Anybody else have an announcement, something to say? No? Okay, then down the back.
Then let's go and have refreshments up at the social hall. Please join us. Thank you for coming today. Mahalo.
It's like